I think it's doing two things. Two things can be true, Skip. You've heard me say that several times. On the one hand, Skip, there are a lot of people that were not around or they were too young to remember that Michael Jordan, a lot of people think the shoes, but trust me, he was a hell of a ball player even before the shoes. And Skip, they're getting an opportunity to see just Michael Jordan. I mean, I don't know how much they go back and YouTube it, but you're getting an opportunity. And I think ESPN has done a great job of putting this together and putting it out there for the viewing public. But on the flip side of that, Skip, I think it's showing he was worried about that, of how he's being portrayed in practice and what he was doing and able to motivate his team to get them ready to go. Skip, after the show yesterday, I got off the phone and I was thinking, I'm trying to think, and I'm like, there has to be someone that some people will understand when I say this, there's a great comparison to. And I got on the phone and I said, Steve, you know what? Michael Jordan is Bobby Knight, the great Indiana coach. And to some fans and a lot of coaches, the ends justify the means. Now, Isaiah Thomas would have a very different story to tell than Rex Reed, who he ended up ultimately losing his job for. That is who he is, Skip. But he graduates his players. Those guys win national titles. And you see what you do? That's who Michael Jordan was. You justify it by saying, look at the titles they won. He got those guys a lot of money. Ends doesn't justify the mean. If you said, okay, yes, Shannon, he bullied those guys. Don't dress it up any other way. Don't say, well, there's no ill intent in his heart. Because I'm sure there's a lot of coaches and those fans in Indiana said, but he loved those kids. And one moment he would grab them and jerk them by the shirt and yell and scream and curse. And the next minute he'd put his arms around them. He loved them. He had no ill intent in his heart. He had no hatred. That doesn't mean jack. He bullied those. And that's why he said what he said, Skip. He knew how this documentary would portray him. Not so much the basketball player shooting the ball on the court, but the behind the scenes and some of the things he said. Skip, I'm trying to figure the difference between Draymond Green calling KD the female dog and Michael Jordan calling Scotty Burrell the garden utensil. I'm just trying to figure how they're different. One guy's like the other guy isn't. So we deem what Michael Jordan was motivating. How do we know KD wasn't trying to Draymond wasn't trying to motivate KD. You see, what we've started to see, Skip, and we've seen this over the last couple of years. If we like someone, we're more willing to accept their actions and their behavior, no matter how bad and grotesque it is. And I don't need to go back and say when. I'm saying the last 4 years or so. You know what I'm talking about. We're willing to accept that if we like that person. I think Michael Jordan has such a high Q rating, such a high approval rating. We will accept behavior even though we know it's wrong because we like said individual.